This week on Not Just Another Sex Podcast.
Mm-hmm.
How do you approach actually talking about test results when you are about to sleep with someone?
I've been a bad girl, not very responsible in that area, but I'll never forget one day we were recording an episode of Cocktails and this guy was fucking, he told me he was going to get tested. So he texted me his results. Now he ain't never did that before. So all I see is doctor looking paperwork in screenshots in my phone. So I was like, and you gonna send me this bullshit right now. So that means you was fucking somebody else because I know I wasn't. And I'm looking at it just thinking it's gonna be positive because why the fuck would you text me this? And you know I'm at work trying to do an episode. Now I need to take a minute. And then my phone.
I gotta inspect the paperwork.
Yeah, so then I'm opening this shit up and I'm trying to read it or whatever. And then you know when your phone freezes up and it has that spinning wheel?
Oh yeah.
So it did that and I said, oh Lord, it's the big one.
Hey, sugar. I feel like there are so many different things that I need to learn as an adult. I'm this nasty on a regular day, like on a Tuesday. I am your host, Samia Burton, and don't worry, it's not just another sex podcast. Hey, you guys. Welcome back to Not Just Another Sex Podcast. My name is Samia. I'm your host, and thank you so much for tuning in for another amazing episode. So, first things first, we're going to start off reading a review. We're showing attention to these first because it's super, super important. The work that we put out, costs you nothing. The only thing we're asking is that you share, rate, review the podcast, just repost a reel or check out the YouTube video and put a comment below. Interacting with the content does the thing that it needs to do at no cost to you. So thank you so much for you guys that are leaving reviews. This review is from Kyrie96 $. All right, money. Titled Favorite Podcast. I love Samia. She's like my big sister in my head. This podcast has helped me be more open with myself on the things that I want and learning more about my body and my needs and wants. So thank you so much. That's real. Everything that we do about this show is super intentional. So just leaving a word, like when things are difficult, reading these on a difficult day, it goes farther than you think. Just knowing that somebody is noticing the work that you're doing. So, but today it is not just me. We have Kiki from Cocktails Dirty Discussions podcast today.
Hi.
Yes. How are you doing?
I'm good. I was telling you earlier, I got a little back problem. Y'all, I'm getting old. I'm like, am I really going to have to start walking around with a cane or what? But my back was flaring up, but I was like, I'm still coming. I just don't laugh when I'm sitting down slow and standing up slow, okay?
Look, you're sitting pretty.
Thank you. I got these pillows on my back. It's very comfortable.
I'm like, you need one of my pillows.
This is
perfect. Right here.
Yeah.
I ain't moving till we done. Make sure that you guys are checking out the visuals on YouTube because you cannot tell that anything is wrong with her. She looks great.
Thank you.
The visuals today are actually amazing. So if you guys have not noticed, if you haven't noticed, I don't know where you've been, but we've been shooting at the Something Extraordinary Content House, which is actually my content house here in Atlanta, 15 minutes from the airport. And I know that you guys have seen this infamous rust wall before with podcasts such as Know For Sure shooting here. What was that? Hollywood Unlocked with Megan James.
The Hollywood group chat.
Hollywood group chat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you do be on the T. I forget.
Yeah, that's my friend. Yeah.
Yes. So she came in and shot with us. My show has been shooting here, but today we have made the rust wall a different set. So that's one of the amazing perks of the content house is that you can recreate and we can build you a set from scratch. Our interior designer who actually designed the house, Naya Abdallah, can also be brought on to create a set for you, a custom-made set for you. So just making sure that we show you all the things that the Content House has to offer. And now that we just got done paying those bills, let's get into the show. All right, so our adult tip of the day is pretty much where we drop a tip, a line, and my therapist says, or just like a life hack, because adulting is crazy. Like you wake up and you be like, damn, I'm a grown-up. Like I know when your back start hurting, you was like, oh shit.
Yeah, I was just like, is this really happening? Where's my icy hot? I need a life alert. Like, what if I had been home alone?
Help, I'm falling down. I can't get up.
Right.
But the adult tip of the day is just where we drop something here. The adult tip of the day actually comes from a Twitter post from Lauren Samia with 3 A's. And it says, now that I actually have a comfortable amount of money, I can say that it does indeed buy happiness. The guilt-free occasional food delivery, being able to afford going out with friends, buying something that makes life easier, health appointments, hiring a service, y'all, they lied. And I could not agree more.
Yeah, I agree.
I think money buys freedom and money buys privilege. So no, money is not everything at all. But finding the tools that we need to like live comfortably, they do cost.
It does. Life isn't free.
Yeah. And so it really sucks that the things that we need for our health care and body care cost as much as it does, like honestly, in the United States. Like it's ridiculous. Like to educate yourself costs so much, but yet the educators make so little.
Right.
Right.
It doesn't make sense.
You have healthcare, which costs so much. The prescriptions are so much, but the food is so shitty. Like it sucks in this world. Money can indeed buy happiness. It's just pretty much what are you spending it on? So you guys gonna spend it anyway. Make sure that you are investing in your mental health, okay? And now we're gonna move on to Twitter Talk. The Twitter Talk is where we kind of like talk about something that's controversial or, you know, something that just may have been popular, viral, something like that, because, you know, Black Twitter runs the world. So, this post came from Marty Woodward. He says, unfortunately, I can't take on any paid unwork to help you make money at this time. Thanks for thinking of me, though.
Man, the amount of people who want you to work for free is ridiculous, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, I understand, especially working in a creative space, and sometimes you don't have it, but you want a service or you want something that somebody has. And I'm just like, at the very least, can we trade on something?
Yeah.
Like, let's make this beneficial. Sometimes you don't have money.
Right.
And you have to accept that one, it's going to be harder. And something I've always done is if I couldn't afford to do something, I'm going to figure out how to do it myself.
Right.
Which I also think you should know how to do in any business that you're in. You need to
Yeah.
understand every aspect of your business so that you don't become dependent upon other people. But this whole everybody working for free and just for exposure, and it's like, who are you exposing me to? Who are you connected to? And is the exposure getting me Instagram followers or is it getting me money? Because I'm
Absolutely.
looking to be paid, because the followers and the dollars don't always, you know, equal out.
So the reason that I bring this up is the way that we met was when I first started Sexual Essentials. Cocktails, Dirty Discussions podcast was one of the first podcasts that someone presented to me. They were like, oh, you're talking about sex, you're educating, you should get on this podcast.
Yeah.
And that was you all. So you guys had already been doing this for a few years. You guys were, and I know you guys' numbers are amazing now and the growth is there now, but you guys were doing great then, right?
Yeah.
At least definitely steps ahead of where I was starting and me being a beginner. And I felt like Kiki had really amazing boundaries around the business that she built. And I reached out multiple times before we ended up working together. Before we ended up working together, sorry. And it was always, you know, hey, thanks for sharing this information. We'll reach out if it's, you know, whatever. But I know that my first time reaching out, I was like, oh, I want to be a guest on your podcast. And from this perspective, that woman did not know me. Two, it was no way for me to be vetted or for her to be clear about what benefit I was going to provide because my platform was new, as well as how was I going to, they could see how it would benefit me, right? My page would grow. I would get free ads, right? But also, what are the costs that they're incurring, and are they receiving an equal benefit? Because podcasting and whatever type of business you have is not cheap. You know?
It's not.
She took a gasp. She said, look
It's
here.
not. I think about it all the time when I'm going through expenses of everything, and I'm just like, all right, what's getting cut or what was really worth it? And when you were reaching out, it wasn't so much that we weren't interested,
Right.
but we were at a different studio space, and then the schedule that we had recording could be difficult sometimes. It was hard booking at that particular studio because there was another show there that was a radio show that room we were in was actually built for, that always took precedent over us. We would get bumped from the studio. And then also, it's like the amount of people that will reach out and say, oh, I want to be on the podcast, I want to be on the podcast.
Absolutely.
And then you got to sift through those people and figure out, okay, let's hear how this person is. Because have you ever had a guest where it's like you vetted them and everything was good until the cameras came on,
and then it was kind of
and it's like, I done spent how much money?
I just spent how much money, and this shit is boring.
Yeah, and I want to throw the episode away, but I can't because I got to keep a schedule. We don't have anything extra or whatever. So yeah, I do try to have boundaries, and I think sometimes that may rub people the wrong way, but it's just important to be able to have those. And I tell people all the time, like, you have to establish boundaries because then people will just do too much.
Absolutely. The reason that I bring this up, you guys, is because on this post, he's saying, unfortunately, I can't take on any unpaid work to help you make money. I reached out multiple times. Like, I could have literally been like, oh, well, excuse her or whatever, which a lot of you all do. And you can see it when, and now that I'm, of course, in that space now, and the messages are ridiculous. People like, oh, I want to be on your show. And I'm like, oh, what do you do? And they're like a person. And there's nothing
they just
wrong.
want to share their thoughts.
They just want to share their thoughts. And I'm like, bro.
Sometimes maybe, but I don't know you to know.
I ain't gonna lie to you, not really. So, and not ever, you know? The intentionality that you guys are hearing in these shows, and I'm talking about it because I want to bring awareness, because as a business owner, if you're starting from somewhere, you need to be networking across. You need to be making sure that you can do something for someone else. And just because you add value doesn't mean it's the value that that person needs, right? So I reached out multiple times, and with the podcast, with you guys having your things going on, she's not entitled to tell me, hey, well, this doesn't make sense for me because XYZ. She could just say, hey, not at this time. If you really want to do something, come at it from different perspectives. We ended up linking up because of the live show, and I was able to do something. I had more experience now under my belt, more videos. So if you guys really are trying to do something, don't just ask someone to do something for you for free. Keep trying until you find a place where you can add value for them. And that's really the way you should be approaching them. If you're asking them for something, if you knew the amount of money that it takes to put on a different outfit on every episode, right?
Makeup.
Right, do the makeup. And y'all know I can't slay my face. I always need Coach's Couture to beat it. So that's an expense. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like the art, like this is a beautiful picture, but guess what? We had to buy that from that young lady. And that's another creative that's like, what I'm gonna do, tell her, hey, can you give me this for free? Because I need to shoot my show.
Yeah.
What? Like it has to be a benefit. And I think it's just very important to talk about it. And I think that you always ran cocktails, like along with Medina. If you guys haven't seen Medina's episode, who is the other half of that podcast, go back and check out the episode. We'll drop it below. But you guys have ran the cocktails, dirty discussions like so well. And I'm just super proud of you.
Thank you.
Definitely one of the OG podcasts. So just want to make sure I give you your flowers while you sitting on my show. Hey, you guys, it's your host, Samia. And for those of you who didn't know, I'm also the CEO and founder of Sexual Essentials. One of my favorite parts about building that brand was creating a learning platform that has over 250 workshops, interviews, and so much more. Some of my favorite components are the sex position demos. Yes, you heard that right. Demos. They're featuring some people that you may already know. Good Moms Bad Choices has demonstrated some positions for us, as well as Dara. You remember her from our first episode. Those are some of my faves, as well as the lingam and yoni massages. These are great additions to add to your oral loving for your partner. Yes, I said oral loving. I'm trying to keep it clean, guys. Anyways, they are great additions and a great way to spice things up. Outside of our masterclasses, add one of these on to your normal routine and really wow your partner. Click the link below or in any of the links in our bio and sign up for our courses today. All right, now back to the show. But let's get into these topics because we got to talk. All right, so I have a question. Are you having difficulty finding good sex?
No.
Okay.
A good man, yeah.
Okay,
but
so you're
good
having
sex, good sex is easier to come by, but this is the thing with me.
Okay.
I always make a joke that having sex with me is kind of like joining like a union. Like, you know how
Okay.
it's like you're in there and you stay for life. Because
Once you
I
start
will
fucking
end up,
me.
I don't ever let you go. It's kind of like, I just, you might be on pause or something like that, but the amount of new partners I've had, I would say even since starting the podcast, hasn't been that many. And I will keep having sex with the same people over and over again. So, like, we know each other real good.
At this point.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that part is not so hard these days.
What's crazy is that when I even asked the question, I knew that I was going to go towards the dating part because I know for a fact that dating is difficult.
It is.
What do you feel like are the difficulties with just even meeting people? Because like dating itself is already hard, right? But you got to find an individual first to even start the difficulties of dating. Like right now my only difficulties are with like a ghost. Like there's nobody that I have difficulties with because I cannot even find someone that I'm like
somebody
to even give my number to.
Yeah.
Like, I get asked my number all the time, but I can't remember the last time I actually gave it out.
So when they ask you, why don't you give it?
It's very clear that, baby, there is no fucking way that you thought I was going to give you my goddamn number.
Is it how they
it's
look
gas
or how
station,
they approach you?
It's a lot of approach. It's like
Okay.
gas station, ask for your number. Like, you don't even have the decorum or the respect that I'm even looking for from jump.
Okay.
So I haven't got past that. And so, we're in rooms where it's like, oh, there are amazing men in here, right? But most likely you're working with a lot of them. And in this field, it's like, I don't want to sleep with everybody that I work with, but those are the people that I'm finding I have the most alignment with. We do the same thing. We're making the same amount of money. You know what I mean? There's a lot of commonality, but it's not, it's not necessarily good to eat where you shit,
Yeah, that is very difficult to do and make work. I do not recommend it. I know some people have been able to do it successfully, but I would just steer clear from anybody. And really, I don't like men who do podcasts. Maybe if you did something behind the scene, I'm sorry, I don't. And I know it's like, well, bitch, you got a podcast. I do. And I know that when I'm on a podcast, and this is what you get, and I can turn it off. The podcast boys, whew, they are just,
they be dead ass.
It's just like, are you going to pull out the little tiny mic like the TikTokers do and start talking? Everything becomes a debate. Like, God damn, I'm just trying to talk and get to actually know you, but I see you don't turn off your character. For me, I think that it is hard to meet guys in Atlanta specifically because a lot of this is my fault.
Okay.
I'm self-aware. I don't be going nowhere these days.
You waiting for somebody to break in and
they better not. They better not. My rent is too goddamn high for somebody to be getting through all that security. But I find that I'm working a lot when I'm at home, and I will be at home, or maybe I'll go to a co-working space, and I might meet some guys there. But we're all pretty focused on work, and whenever I go out of town, it's so much easier. But I also have noticed here, the men seem a little bit more shy, or maybe they want us to approach them, and that's just not part of my ministry, so it doesn't work out well for me. Now, if I go other places where the men are more assertive, that works out better. So one, I just got to get out of the house and try going to different places. When I do that, it works out great. As far as meeting them.
Yeah.
Now, step 2, 3, and 4, I don't
know. So at the Content House, we started doing like different, like we had the R&B night, like for the grand opening. And then we had, I had the What Men Want panel from Sexual Essentials. I had it there at the house too.
Okay.
And the ladies were definitely showing up to meet niggas. Like and I'm not gonna lie to you, the men were attractive.
Okay.
But I feel like I kind of want to go to like maybe like a speed dating thing. But like,
have you ever done that?
I want to have one. Like I feel like we should call Medina and be like, this is what we need to do.
Speed dating would be cool.
She be with the shits.
Yeah. Now, this is the only thing about speed dating. We are going to have to do extra work to get some quality men in there. Because this is another thing. Like, just in talking to, like, single guy friends, I'll ask them, like, have you ever gone to speed dating? And they feel like they don't need to go. And I was literally
so now we're looking at each other.
Yeah. And they're like, why would I go to this? I don't need to go to this. Like, I don't need to go to a speed dating event to meet women. The women are busting down my door. And honestly, I was having a conversation with a girlfriend this morning, and I said, you know what? I have really relaxed on some of the men and the shit that they do sometimes, because I'm like, shit, if I was you, I would do you too. And I get it. Like, when you're an attractive guy, you're doing well for yourself, you can have conversations, you have all of these things going for you, and you're single. Sometimes it is like, why would you settle down? I asked them to be honest, but I would hope that they would show up too, because yeah, you might not have trouble, but there's a variety of other women here.
Yeah.
That you might not see. Right. Come see the other ladies.
So where do you meet men? Or people? Like what? I feel like thinking outside of the box is important. And I'm new to Atlanta. So I'm trying to get outside. And
well, girl,
I feel like
that's the wrong person. Now, I told you.
Right, she just said I'd be sitting at home.
I'd be in the house.
I didn't know that was going to be an answer when I had the question.
Yeah,
I'm like,
you probably thought it would be better.
I expected more, Kiki.
Okay, sorry. I'm just trying to be honest here. Now, when I wasn't being a workaholic, I would go to just places that I liked, right?
Yeah.
And figure if I like this type of place, and maybe if I meet someone here, we already have something in common. So like, instead of getting a table at a restaurant, sit at the bar. I feel like the bar is more social. I was picking nice restaurants. Now, I also like to go to nice restaurants during lunchtime because, again, I don't want a man in my industry. I want you to go to work. I want like maybe like
to see who's on their lunch break.
Yeah, like I want you to be in the middle of your day, in the middle of meetings, in a button up or something. You work in one of the office buildings. Maybe you work in finance
It's the
or something
details
that's
for me.
very
Where
sexy
am
to
I
me.
gonna find the type of man that I'm looking for?
So one good space that I really like is Little Alley Steak. They stopped doing lunch for a while, but it's back.
But did you know?
Yeah. Chops is a good one. They always have people going in there for lunch. And they're in there having their meeting. So it's like you might even see two men together. They're not on a date. They're at a business meeting. You gotta be clear.
Yeah.
And I've asked a couple guys that I know work in these other industries, and they're like, yeah, those are good places. And I'm always asking them, if something else opens up, you let me know. But you need to be in those areas where it's a lot of foot traffic. Go there.
Okay.
In the middle of the day, you got to get your day started early. So that you can be there and already sit at the bar.
She is so serious, y'all. If y'all not watching these YouTube, she's dead serious. She's like, this is how you do it.
I like to do things with a plan, okay? Also,
no, Kiki, you know I've always worked with the intentionality, because look here, if it's about the business or we're doing something, Kiki's gonna have the Beyonce. Aren't you a Virgo?
I am.
Yes, I'm a Virgo moon, and you know, like when we do things right, it's giving Beyonce. It's very detailed. These are this is how we're gonna do it. I'm gonna tell you what's gonna happen before, what we're going after. I literally can get with that. And a lot of people have been encouraging me to not be like that, to find somebody. And I'm like, first of all, I ain't finding shit. I needed to find me. And if I have a calendar, then they'll know where I am.
You know, another place that I have been enjoying meeting or seeing men, and I've met a few this way, grocery stores.
I hate when people talk to me at the grocery store.
Why?
Well, one, I'm a mom. Most likely I have my child. And I think it's
very
awkward.
You go when you're looking for a man.
No, I don't want to go there. No, I don't even like the grocery store.
Now, how are you going to ask and shoot it down like that?
Because I hate the grocery store. And
why do you hate the grocery store?
People don't even approach you. I usually take a man with me to the grocery store to get the other man to not act weird. And it's easier. As
you
a
don't
woman,
think that they'll think that you're with this other man?
You know what the problem is, though? Women don't do the same thing. I be with men all the time, and women have no problem with thinking that, they don't think they're together.
Are you looking for a woman or are you looking for a man? Because you know we
I'm
all act
open
different.
to both. First of all,
I don't know where to meet the women.
To be honest, the thing I don't like about meeting people in common places, and I say common, which is the place that everybody in the world has to go to, grocery stores, gas stations, is that the approach never makes me feel comfortable. It's always, I'm hit on in like it's never in a way that's like respectful. It's almost like,
what do they say?
Like the men, you know my ass. So it's like it's clear that you're gawking. Like I'm feeling uncomfortable, and I don't like those feelings. So it's like getting me to go out. I want the smallest crowd possible, and I want it to be a place that has a certain type of decorum, so I can feel comfortable.
Have you considered a matchmaker, like an actual matchmaker?
They do that?
Yeah. So, okay, here's one. There's a bunch of them here in Atlanta, actually. And I'll tell you, my uncle got married a couple years ago, and he met his wife through a matchmaker. So it's, what is it called? I forget, but the name doesn't matter because they didn't sponsor this episode.
Damn right. You better get it together.
It's a matchmaking company, and basically they have you get together over lunch. And it's a quick date, and you have the matchmakers. You would talk to the matchmakers. That you have to pay. It's a service, so you know that. But you know that people are being intentional and maybe not wasting your time unless they really just like to blow money because it's not exactly cheap. But you meet up, and then you have the date, and it's your responsibility on the date to get each other's actual contact information because the matchmakers set up this initial date. Gotcha. So then, if you're not feeling him, you don't have to worry about it because he doesn't have your number or any of that. And so, I mean, I don't know. Maybe you should try, because if you want something more curated, it's not going to be in these Atlanta streets just out in the wild.
I just don't think it's going to be in the Atlanta grocery store.
I don't know, girl. I've met some guys in the grocery store before who were respectful. I was going to suggest, you're not open to it, but maybe one of your listeners is. I always tell people you go to the frozen food section or any prepared food section because the single men they don't have no real grocery list. You think they're in there looking for cream of tartar, chicken stock, fresh dill, fresh parsley. They're over here like, what's the difference between dill, parsley, and cilantro? I don't know. They're looking lost, right? That's a man who's doing something for the woman or man that he's with. You don't want him. You need to just beeline it. Maybe if you go to the fresh produce area, you need some cut up fruit, things that are already in the container. They're not about to be doing all that because after a long day of work and working out and whatever else they're doing, they don't want to worry about that. So that, and then the prepared foods, whether it's frozen or even some of the grocery stores have like the home chef thing where you literally pop it in the oven.
Terrible food.
It's not terrible. These are like better. This is not like the frozen stuff, but it's like meal kit delivery, but it's at the grocery store now.
Oh, okay.
So they just pop it in the oven.
Classy.
Yeah, it's a lot classier.
That's so wild. I feel
and
like
at the stores near a gym. That's the best place to go. That's the best grocery store.
Are you the matchmaker?
I just have suggestions. I've been out here for a long time, and I'm
You see why I'm asking the questions that I'm asking, because
Yeah.
Kiki, y'all, I don't think y'all know, if y'all have not listened to Cocktails Dirty Discussion podcast, this is how Kiki is. She's like, okay, well, this is my intention, and this is what I'm looking for, and this is the plan.
I gotta think
and
this shit out.
I relate to that, and so I know that y'all hear me talking probably like somebody tripping. I know somebody who be thinking the same damn way. So
Yep.
But I ain't got no man. You got a man? What's up? Tell us the tea.
So I'm dating right now, but I'm a very non-committal person. Sometimes I really just feel like I'm a nigga on the inside, and I just it's like when commitments arise, it's just like, do I really want to do this? Do I really want to close all the doors to the other options out there? I don't know. It stresses me out.
Question: How has when I first started listening to you guys' podcast, that was like 5 years ago, and where you were then, and the thoughts you had around dating were whatever. What are the biggest differences? Right, but like, I guess what do you think is what phase are you in now? Like now we're in our 30s.
I think that less fun and more like, okay, if I'm gonna really spend some time with this person, do I see any possibility of a real future together? I'm maxed out on fuck buddies. I don't need another one. I told y'all, I don't really fire people. It's just a matter of when is your shift gonna be, this year or next year, But I think I'm not really looking for somebody just to have fun with. I think I was so focused on trying to do something with cocktails and figuring out other aspects of my life and who I am or who I was, that I couldn't take anybody serious. Now I would, but at the same time, I'd be getting nervous when it gets serious, because then it's like, we're not really like not date anybody else.
So now you gotta like practice that skill, but you're doing it now.
And then I have to remember, like, don't be outside giving out your number to everybody, because you just had a conversation with somebody else that you wasn't gonna be doing that. Now you lying and you doing like the niggas do. That's not what you wanted to do, and it stresses me out.
Dealing with these problems.
Yeah.
I feel like you kind of explained it a little bit, but I was want to ask, what role do you think that you play in the difficulty in of dating? Like, what's your thing? And you kind of just explained one, but
so
I
part
still
of it is not going out and not wanting to commit. Another thing, I am very particular about a lot of things, and while this isn't a good quality of mine, but while I want people to have patience with me, I don't always have patience with the men. And I be getting fed up. But I feel like if I give you instructions on how to do something, why do I have to keep telling you? You're not a child. And I think it irritates me, because I'm like, you the one that is going to be screaming about you want to be the leader and women need to submit and I lead, but you can't lead shit. I have to tell you how to do everything. And then that pisses me off. And so then that's a quick way to get eliminated. So just probably how particular I can be about things.
Okay. Hey, you guys, it's your host, Samia. If you're enjoying the topics over here, honestly, I think you'd love the topics over on my learning platform. I have some private interviews over there with some amazing guests. I've interviewed Mr. Marcus, yes, that's the porn star, Passion Jones, who brought on her husband and her boyfriend, and even had some girls' night conversations with Medina from Cocktails, as well as Mila from Good Moms Bad Choices. That conversation was amazing. We did some examples of our dirty talk, and let's just say you need to check it out. Don't just take my word for it. Make sure that you click the link below and sign up today. There are over 250 workshops, classes, interviews, and so much more. All right, now back to the show.
It's my problem.
What? Well, if you look on your table over there, I put some cards that you may recognize.
Oh, yes. Oh, these look like they've been getting some good use. They're like a bust out the box.
Yes, that's a sign for y'all to give me another one, because I've been using it. No, we're going to put some cards from it.
Okay.
I want to talk about this. I think that it's very important to give people their flowers and make sure people know what you guys got going on. Sometimes this is the only exposure they have to you. But of course, we hope that you guys are checking out the guests and following their platforms. And I hope that we're doing a good job of telling you what they do. A lot of questions that I'm asked are, how do I find other people that do this or create the community and that do the same things? How do I find more events like this? If you like this show, then check out if you like the guests, then check them out. Like, follow through. This is how you support, and those things only take a moment. But to focus on some of the things that you guys do, Kiki and Medina, the host of Cocktails Dirty Discussions, have a game that I really, really love. So the questions today were around like dating and just things like that, because they have a question game called I'm Curious to Know. And my favorite thing about that deck is look how thick it is.
Yeah, like, there's over 100 questions in here.
It's thick as fuck.
And they're not like yes or no questions. And you can ask somebody these questions and it'll start like a good conversation. I know that sometimes being an overthinker too, people don't want to admit to this, but sometimes even though you can have great conversation, when it's a new person or somebody you really like and you're overthinking the situation, your mind might go blank. This will do it.
Okay.
You're going to pull some?
We're going to both pull some.
Okay.
Yeah, I want to make sure we get...
How you want to do it?
You shuffle them. You
I shuffled them already.
You did? Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Take this box out the picture. You know I want them... Yeah. It look all dusty. I need a new box. The cards look like they're in good condition.
The cards are in great condition. They're nice and thick. I heard that if body fluids get on them, they'll be all right.
What?
Now, I haven't gotten the body fluids on them.
But
usually,
from the grapevine.
And I'll be honest, I be cheating when I play this game.
You put the questions you want to know at the top.
No, there's a card in here that says, do you want to end the game now and have sex? And so I just save that for when I'm like, ooh, I'm liking his answers. I'm about to pull this card out.
That's fair.
I just love sex. Oh my gosh.
I love you, Kiki. It's the Virgo in you.
I love you too. Okay, so here we go.
Let's go do 3. So I just want you guys to see the cards, and we'll put the link below. You go first.
Okay.
Wait, to ask you. No, let me go first. Let me ask you. Don't be trying to end the game to have sex. Don't be trying to end the game. Okay. Would you feel offended if your significant other never posted you on social media?
No.
I'm with you.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to be offended. I'm actually A-okay with that.
Yeah.
I think if I felt he was trying to hide me.
Yeah.
Then yeah, like if you Instagram every goddamn thing you do all day, and I've been with you all day, and there's not even like a little corner of my plate in a picture. Nah, nigga, what you up to? What's going on? Now I'm gonna be feeling suspicious. But I'm not somebody who really posts who I'm dating. Like, if you ever went to my Instagram to try and figure it out, you are gonna be stuck like Chuck because you're not gonna see him.
I feel like what's so crazy is like, years and years ago, I did care, but I didn't even realize how I was like such a hypocrite, because the only person I've ever posted like on the timeline like was when I was married. You know what I mean? And I felt like, oh, like you kind of got to let people know. But what's crazy is he never was posting me. I was like, but that was me saying, like, even then I was like, oh, well, if that's what works for you, that works for you. And then what works for me, works for me.
Yeah.
And then, you know, when divorce come up, you're like, damn, was that a sign? And then, but, was that a sign? But to be honest, though, like today, in this day and age, I am not posting anybody that I'm not, like, not even serious. I mean, like a marriage, you know, like a life part, like a hard partnership. I'm fine with stories, but not like an actual post on my timeline.
On my page. I mean, people don't even like to see other people on my page anyway. I post a group picture. Y'all don't be showing it no love. They just want to see me anyway.
Why did I say that the other day? And people's like, what are you talking about? Y'all don't pay attention.
Y'all don't pay attention. And then also sometimes I know that the person I'm with is for a season, not a good reason. And I want to take my L in silence, okay? Because I know sometimes I do get bored and I do want to do stuff just because. Not, I'm real bored, and it's like, okay, well, let's have some more crazy experience. So I have some shit to talk about because life is getting boring, and I don't need this posted nowhere. You don't post me, I'm not posting you. Please
let's just keep it on the down low.
Yeah,
but right now in this day and age, I don't necessarily want to show everything. I don't mind showing stuff that we're doing, but I don't need it to be like take over and all you see is like a man on my page.
Yeah,
that's
like
kind
some
of
pages
annoying.
look like couples pages, and it's like, goddamn, what are y'all doing?
Or
selling Match.com? What is this?
Selling Match.
Yeah, like are you brand partners now?
I feel like all of a sudden it's just like everything is about everything that you post now is only about love. And maybe I'm just saying that because the bitch ain't in love, so maybe I should, fall in love, and we're gonna test it out and see.
I
how
do
it is.
like seeing my friends post on their close friends. I had post something
Now, the
about that
close
too.
friends,
I
absolutely.
love watching it because I just be sitting there like all happy, looking at my friends all happy. I'm like, oh, that's cute. Y'all posting y'all niggas. I love it.
On the close friends, that's different. That's
Yeah.
totally different. That means that you know in real life. Yeah. So, all right, hit us with
Okay.
this.
If you could travel anywhere in the world right now, where would you go?
Bali.
Bali? Why
Yeah.
Bali?
Right now I need to relax and restore. Like after just the last 6 months of creating the content house and the podcast at the same time, like I'm staying on top of my self-care. But I'm super looking forward to just being able to take a longer vacation than usual. And when I went to Bali, it was very healing. Before, when I went, I used to drink. I don't drink anymore. And I just kind of want to see how the already healing experience is now that I'm like completely sober, and just I know that it has all the healing stuff that I'm looking for right now. So the first thing of peace that I thought about is like Bali. Yeah. What about you?
I would go to Italy to eat. I love food.
That's fair.
And I just think about it all the time. I want to do like a pasta class out there and just eat a bunch of stuff. Yeah.
You should do a pasta class here at the Something Extraordinary Content House.
That would be lovely. I need to up my pasta skills though. Like
That's
I
why
can
we should be
cook with
practicing.
pasta, but to make a really good pasta, like I want to be like Top Chef with it. But yeah.
You know what? We could do it as like a and you guys, Kiki has a cookbook. What's the,
Classy based.
Classy based.
Classy based with a K, like KLASSYBASTE. Like you based the turkey.
Yes. So it's like New Orleans style food, right?
No, it's
what
all
is it?
sorts of food.
Really?
In there. Yeah.
I don't know what I think because I always associate you with crawfish.
Yeah, I was thinking about crawfish 5 minutes ago. I was thinking maybe one place I would go is Houston to go to Boil House before crawfish season is over. But I was like, that's not a really good answer. I'll keep that for
We really need
myself.
to figure out for New Orleans. I need to figure out where I'm gonna go because I need some crawfish while it's here.
Yeah.
But I feel like we could do like a workshop here, and it's just like, oh, let's just practice making noodles, and we work our way up and stuff like that. So we need to talk about.
Fun.
You know, I'm with the shits,
Yeah.
and they can do wine tasting while they do it and stuff. So
That
make
would
sure
be
that y'all
fun.
follow the @SE Content House because the events are coming. The point is for us to create and just have fun. Okay, Italy sounds like a vibe.
It does.
and
I've never been, so I
okay.
want to go.
I went to Greece and I had a layover
I went there.
Okay, I went to Greece. I had a layover, and so I did Italy, but I only had like 36 hours. But,
Okay.
it was beautiful. It was beautiful. But
The
yeah.
pictures always look so nice.
All right, one more. Oh, yeah. Okay, one more. Okay, it's slippery. When was the last time you were tested, and what were the results?
The last time I was tested was in January. I had a clean bill of health. Thank God, because
She said,
sometimes
like she was relieved.
you just never know, because it's like, okay, you can think that you're only having sex with a certain person, and you hope that they're being
telling the
honest with
truth,
you.
yeah.
But I think it's still important, just for your own sake and your own health and sanity, that you do get tested regularly.
Absolutely. I had mine in March. I had went to, you know what's so crazy? To get into my OBGYN, it's like a year wait.
That is
ever
crazy.
since COVID, it's been really bad. And I actually went to Planned Parenthood because I needed to, my birth control was expiring. I wasn't playing with that shit. They was like, so you want to pay for it out of pocket instead of going to the doctor? I said, bitch, I'm not waiting a year.
Yeah,
now.
my gynecologist, it's not a year, but it's a long wait.
It's a
I went to
long-ass
like one of
wait.
those like clinic places.
Yeah.
And they're actually quicker.
It's, first of all, you get your results. Like, I feel like I'm doing a commercial for Planned Parenthood, but Planned Parenthood was busting. First of all, the one that was by my house is just really nice. Like, it's just a really nice office, and it's by itself. Versus like my regular OBGYN was in a big ass building, so I had to go into the hospital and all that shit, and that shit's annoying. But I went in there.
Too long.
Yeah, and so I have the Nexplanon arm chip, and what I did was it lasts for 5 years, and my son had just turned 6, so I was like, okay, it needs to be changed. And even though I'm not having sex right now, it was more so, you know how your hormones change if you get off of something too long, and then it goes back to normal, and then you have to get back on the birth control, and then now your body has to get reacclimated.
And I be going crazy in between those hormone changes with the birth control. Like, I'm not a pleasant person.
Now, look, the reason that I was fighting so hard to get it like right away again is because I didn't have any of those issues with the Nexplanon. Now, I've heard a lot of people had the same issues, but I just didn't. So yeah, so like y'all, if you can't get into your doctor's office or it's been a while, make sure that you check out Planned Parenthood because like it's really easy and yeah, I got my results like that day. Oh, but I got tested in March and I was good. Everything was straight.
And they also have a bunch of companies where they will like, you can get it on Amazon Prime. They'll send you a kit at home.
Yeah.
And you can, now that takes longer, but maybe if you don't have health insurance or you live somewhere far or whatever the case may be, there's lots of options out there. The only option you don't need to take is not getting tested.
First of all, how do you approach actually talking about test results when you are about to sleep with someone? Or do you ask every time, or do you not ask if you're using a condom?
I haven't asked every time.
I have been a bad girl.
I've been a bad girl, not very responsible in that area. But usually I just ask because I feel like I can be in my head trying to think of like a good way to ease it into the conversation.
I guess I don't ever feel like I got to ease it. I feel like it's a general question.
You don't. Especially if it's before you have sex and you're not sure if you're gonna have sex, but you start feeling that tingling feeling down below, like I want to hop on it right now. Like, hey, by the way, are you fucking anybody right now? Like,
I tell people that's a good sign. That mean they trying to fuck. If somebody asks you that, they ain't asking you that question if they ain't trying to fuck. They asking because they trying to fuck.
And then you might lie to me. Maybe you'll tell the truth. I hope that you'll be honest.
I do send them though. I ain't gonna lie to you. I do send them. Like, also if I sleep with somebody. Sent them. You know, I do aftercare as well. So like say, so I got tested in March. The last person I slept with, I also sent them I wasn't even sleeping with them anymore, but I still sent it to them and was just like, hey, this is the last, just wanted to let you know. Like, I don't know why I do that, but I guess, I don't know, I'm pretty intimate with people, but I feel like I always ask because I also don't like condoms. So if I sleep with someone, it's because if it's someone that I plan on sleeping with for a really long time, or we're in a relationship, or we know we're about to get in a relationship, then let's go get tested and let's start over. Let's go get tested together. But also I lead with that. Like I also, if it's not somebody I'm sleeping with continuously, of course I'm using a condom. And even in that, yeah. But most of the times I'm not sleeping with somebody that I'm not sleeping with for a few years only. So. And it's like the same way, but it's always just an open, honest, ended conversation. But I don't really.
I think that also, like, it's been very rare that a guy has initiated the conversation, but the conversation needs to be had, so then I'm gonna have to take the lead on that. I'll never forget one day we were recording an episode of Cocktails, and this guy was fucking. He told me he was going to get tested, but I was like, okay. So he texted me his results. Now, he ain't never did that before. So all I see is doctor looking paperwork in screenshots in my phone. So I was like, and you gonna send me this bullshit right now. So that means you was fucking somebody else because I know I wasn't. And I'm looking at it just thinking it's gonna be positive, because why the fuck would you text me this? And I'm at work trying to do an episode. Now I need to take a minute. And then my phone.
I gotta inspect the paperwork.
Yeah, so then I'm opening this shit up and I'm trying to read it or whatever. And then when your phone freezes up and it has that spinning wheel.
Oh yeah.
So it did that, and I said, oh Lord, it's the big one. And God is trying to embrace me. Like I was so fucking scared and pissed at the same time, and I was just stressed out and sweating. And then he called me. I was like, don't fucking call me now because you sent me these pictures. Now what is it? Because the shit wasn't loaded. It was just really chaotic. He was like, everything was negative. I was like, oh, my bad. Well, you might come over later. The pictures wasn't loading. I was stressed out. Then you called me as soon as I leave the studio, and I never got a chance to look. We had guests that day and shit. Yeah, and I'm just like, I said, why would you text me that? You didn't even text any words. You just sent sheet after sheet after sheet.
Like it's gonna tell me the story of what's going on.
Yeah, because then I'm thinking you're trying to avoid the conversation by just sending me like, okay, well the least I can do is let you know you probably got some. Yeah, I'm an overthinker. I told y'all. So I'm just like, don't you ever do that? Is this what I be
sounding like?
Don't ever do that. And then this happened, another guy. This was like in the beginning, I want to say like, was it beginning of COVID? Somewhere early in the COVID years. And
the COVID years.
So I'd had sex with this guy, and we had used a condom, but I was like, well, maybe I was more drunk than I thought, and maybe I told him to take it off because I hadn't done that before. So like, I don't know. And so he texted me, and And it was a similar thing. He sends me this fucking doctor paperwork looking shit with all these tiny ass words. And I see it's a PDF attachment. I was like, oh my God, I really just got to close my legs to all of the men, right?
For sending you their test, so it gives you anxiety when people send you their test results.
Yeah, just like, let's talk about it.
Let's just talk to me.
And then you can send it to me.
You
Don't
think
just
you sending
send
me
me
the
a blind.
evidence.
Yeah, like you just sending me a case files. So he texts me and he was like, hey, I got bad news and I'm just sending this text message out to everybody. I was like, you fucking whore. Like, how many people are you sending this text message out to? He was like, but I got tested and the results were positive. So I just wanted you to know so that you could get tested too.
What was it for?
It was COVID, child. I was like, oh my God. It was COVID. I mean, not that COVID ain't never hurt nobody, but like,
test results.
Yeah, and I'm like, what is going? And then why would you do that? And then I was like, damn, I was just kissing him all in his mouth. I probably do have COVID.
Okay.
And I didn't have COVID. So then I was confused as to how that shit was working. But whatever, I was covered in the blood that day.
My God.
Yeah, that really scared me though. So I just would hope that in the future, if we're fucking and you go get tested, you want to share your results, that's perfectly fine.
Just talk to you.
Talk to me. And if you want to send the evidence, that's fine too. That's cute. But send it after the conversation. Yeah. Because my God, I don't want to have a heart attack. Now I'm going to be laid up in the hospital bed. I thought I had chlamydia, but now I'm having a heart attack because of you. Like, what? That was stressful. I'm getting hot thinking about it.
And what's crazy is I'm following along too. Like, Virgo moon just
like
booming.
What?
Okay, so the other thing that we bring to the bedroom, you were done with those, so you can put those away if you want to. The other thing I want to talk about is the other thing that I always bring in the bedroom that we have in common.
A toy.
Girl, you already know. Look here, Kiki.
I love it.
Kiki has always been with me for 1 foot. Look at my little box falling apart.
That's because they've been used really well. The cards are still intact. We'll get you another box.
That's how good the cards are. Okay, I be trying to tell people. I told me, I said, hey, I'm having a girls' night here. I said, can y'all donate a box so we can give them away? She said, hell yeah. I always tell people about those cards. I love those cards.
Thank you.
And it's like, y'all know it's like 1,000 of them on the market, like dating ones.
There's so many.
And I have all of them because I be trying them out.
I enjoy them.
I do, but that is one of my favorites.
Okay.
Especially because it sound like the podcast, not like some ones y'all like AI Googled or some shit.
Oh yeah, no,
like,
this was no AI. We had a Google Doc.
It sound like
typing.
Yes. So yes, I definitely want to talk about toys and bringing them in the bedroom. Mm-hmm. Now I know for me, I lead with toys. We gonna play with toys before we gonna have sex.
Okay.
When do you bring up toys?
Ooh, it depends. I like to, treat all my men different because they're special.
I like to treat all my men's.
So I think that I liked, if you seem like super alpha male, those are the ones I'm more nervous, and I know it's going to take a little bit more work
that's fair.
to introduce the toys in there. But if you don't really seem that way and you're really open, especially if you're totally smitten with me, that's going to be easy work. I'm just going to whip it out. And the toys that I like clitoral stimulation. Yeah. I like the ones that vibrate. I like the ones with the air pulses. That's really my vibe. I don't really care for the dildos and stuff. I don't really need anything inserted inside of me. Usually those don't feel as great to me. I'll just save that for, the real thing. Mm-hmm. I got to save something.
Because you're going to do everything else.
Yeah.
For me, I will say that I love the fact you said that everybody is different. And that's super fair. And I realize when it comes to masturbation with me, it's always from my perspective. And so I like it there with the partner, one, because it's like foreplay. So I kind of need to know that you know about my body before we do anything. Like that makes like sense. How thorough you are as far as like dating, how you finding somebody and all that stuff. That's how I feel about like having good sex. I can't remember the last time I've had bad sex, but like my steps be, first of all, talking about toys, because if you doing all that, I don't have the energy.
Now I don't even know if I want to fuck.
I don't want to fuck. Like if you're not even open, because mind you, I prefer vanilla sex more often than not. Like at this age, like, and I love men. And they're like so fine. And even with a woman, like they be so fine. Like I'm good with the details of just like the human body and just like a lot of intimacy. And I think one of the most intimate things is having no additives at all. you know? But that doesn't mean that I don't like it in my sex life regularly or whatever. So if I'm just discussing it and I'm not even talking about, like when you turn me on, I barely have time to add on anything.
Yeah.
So if you're just against it, it just makes me feel like you're gonna be open minded, and that's gonna make me feel uncomfortable. Like I just don't really fuck with it.
Yeah, I don't like when someone makes me feel uncomfortable during sex.
Yeah, I think that's just gonna be the blanket statement.
Yeah,
there.
like I don't want you to be too hesitant about stuff. It's usually me overthinking and thinking I know how you might receive something versus how it actually goes.
Yeah.
Hey, you guys, hope you're enjoying the show. I just had to stop by and let you know that if you have not ordered your thigh-high socks from Sexual Essentials, you're behind. I know how it feels to buy lingerie and you say, ooh, I'm going to be real sexy and put it on, and it's sitting in the back of your drawer collecting dust. Let me tell you, the thigh-high socks are just so convenient. They're super sexy and they're actually comfortable. So instead of feeling like you have to make that large leap into lingerie, try the thigh-high socks. Your partner gets to see you looking sexy as well as yourself, and they're super comfortable. Don't forget to use our code NJASP for 15% off. Tell your friends and make sure that you get your favorite color before they're gone. All right, now back to the show.
So I like to do mutual masturbation.
Okay.
Have you done that like in a relationship? Okay, yeah. Mutual masturbation, if you guys don't know, is where you can either masturbate on yourself and then they masturbate on themselves and you guys watch each other, or either maybe you're masturbating with yourself and they're just watching you. This is a sexy way for like just even teaching your partner how your body works.
Yeah.
But also for you guys to just do something different, you know? But also when you're extending foreplay, or if you're not ready to have sex with that person, but you're starting intimately, or you just don't want to go from 0 to 100 real quick. Like once you have sex, you ain't gonna never not have had sex again.
Yeah.
Like sometimes you just want to extend it because you know y'all gonna fuck, but the foreplay is really good. Like
It's been a long time since I did that though.
I pretty much always do it. Like I need it. Like everything else has been done. And so I feel like
No, I mean waiting. Like this is gonna be all
yeah,
on the
I was
same
about to say
day.
everything. She said this all happening on the same day.
It's like the first 20 minutes we could try out this mutual masturbation. It's like, let's get this party started.
It depends. Like if I'm not ready to have sex with someone, I find that
Yeah.
it's a really good way to be super intimate. We both gonna get off, so it's not frustrating or as frustrating.
Yeah.
But it's really intimate. It's different. So I like that. But also I was wondering, outside of the air pulse, what type of toy have you ever used toys on men?
I have used my toys on them, like
Okay.
those same ones, and I like to put it like on the gooch,
Okay.
or I'll put it on the tip of their dick, or depending on like how it's shaped and what it does. I just like to rub it around because it's just gonna be another sensation. Or like while I'm sucking their dick, I have one that's really small and it
Yeah.
fits in the palm of my hand.
Oh, it's like a bullet like size.
It's not a bullet size. It's bigger, but it curves. Like it's probably the size of my palm, I guess. And so I'll put that on the gooch while I'm sucking his dick. And
Yeah.
he really
It does
liked
the
that.
thing that it needs to do. Yes.
And then they be looking like they're so in love, and I love it. Like I got it.
So that's one of the it's so crazy because in the mouth master class when we did your live show.
Oh yeah.
Yes, when we did
That was fun.
It was fun. So there's a class that I teach. It's called the Mouth Master class. And when Kiki and I met for their live show, they do live shows, they go on tour. So make sure you guys follow them because they shows are super fun. There was a dick sucking contest on the stage. Yes. There was you, there was me, Drea from Port Mines. And like y'all, this was so long ago. Like I really feel like we have grown.
Yeah, this was 2019.
Yes. But one of the things that we talk about in the class are different things that you can do and toys to add, like with the dick, and that's one of them. Like adding the a vibrator, and I ain't gonna lie to you, I don't use my good vibrators on men. I use the ones that like like one that's like is nothing wrong with it, or maybe like it's really soft or like gentle, or just it's not as intimidating. Because if you pull out something that look like a hammer, you know, like those ones that you hold. So I try to get like a sleek one, and I have this really cute. It looks like a bullet, but it's not. But it's teal, and it look like it got glass beads in it, but you can't feel it. Like it just look like it. But also even with glass, how you were talking about like toys that go on the inside, I really like I want you to try glass dildos. And I say glass dildos because they have different textures. And also glass and crystal feels different than like the rubber or silicone dildos, but also like temperature play. So like you can put a glass dildo in a cup of ice water and put it inside of you, and then you can put it in a cup of warm water, and it feels totally different. And just even like rubbing the glass dildo across your clit, like it shows a lot of sensitivity. It brings out a lot of sensitivity because normally like when we're getting our pussy eaten or just any type of touch at all, it's never that gentle. And a lot of people don't really explore what light touch can feel like, which is why like feathers are really important, or just like even dragging material across the skin can be like, whoa, like
Yeah, it feels good.
yeah, really light touch. So
I like to use this one too.
oh, the Crave.
Yes. This is the Vesper.
Okay. I
Yeah,
have
the vibration.
I have the gold. So you know, when I first bought it, I didn't know they even had gold. I just saw it and bought the silver one. Bitch, I found out they had a gold, and I had to go back and get the gold one.
Yeah.
That's one of my airport toys for sure. Yes.
It's very convenient.
Yeah, I tell people all the time, like, you need to masturbate on the plane. Like, a lot of people
On the plane.
Absolutely.
Now, how you do it on the plane?
Okay.
You be in your seat, you go to the bathroom.
No, I was in my seat. So okay, so
She said that like that was a normal response.
I was in my seat. So
Okay, so what you do with a blanket?
yeah, okay. So last year for my birthday, I did 30 orgasms for my 30th birthday. And I was doing like it was a bucket. I was turning 30. So I was, it was a whole bunch of firsts, and I was trying to knock out stuff on my bucket list. So I had got a first class flight. So you have the little cubby thing, and
Where were you flying to?
I did Maldives and the Fifi Islands for my 30th. And so I did, I had this toy that looks like bunny ears, and it looks like a USB port. Like when you take the cap off, it looks like a USB.
I have one of those.
Yes. So, but on the first class, or they have USB chargers. So I opened the box on the plane and I charged it. And
You had plenty of time.
plenty of time, you know. But also, I did. So now I'm not sitting next to anybody, and when
Okay,
people
see,
are watching
I'm thinking
the
you're
movie,
sitting next to somebody like
No,
going
no, no, no.
Atlanta to New York on a 2-hour flight, and you got your
Whipping
blanket
out
and
your
you.
cooch. No.
Okay, in the cubby, that's appropriate.
yeah, so that's that. Or if you're sitting alone, but it had the little door, and then also with the I have this necklace, and I've used that one too because you could wear it on your neck. It's a great conversation starter. But the other time that I had an airport situation, it kind of failed. I got to the airport early. And so the family restroom, handicap restroom was open, and it was just like there was nobody at the airport. And so I was like,
I'm gonna go here.
I'm gonna masturbate. Like, why not? Like, you ever just need to pause? Like, I need to get off real quick. And so I went in there, and because it was 5 a.m., nobody was in there. I took my time, but I had to stand up to masturbate because I want to go sit down and in the bathroom and do it. And so it took a little longer because standing up requires it's a little more difficult for me to get there versus like you go to positions and stuff.
Agree.
But also when I stand up or do a different position masturbating, it's usually a stronger orgasm. And so then I squirted in the bathroom. And so I was like, okay, let me like just clean up a little bit.
Yeah.
And so I wiped up the mess with my feet, put some napkins on the ground.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, so I got myself together, put my bag back on, and I opened the door. And
It's a lot.
It was a man in a wheelchair, and his caregiver was trying to get him in the bathroom.
So did you start walking with the limp?
No.
That's what I would
I
have
was
done.
thinking to myself, you know what? I could have had my cup in. I could have been on my period. Like, in my mind, I was hella defensive, but bitch, I knew that I
That
was
is
like,
not for
bitch, he's
families.
over here waiting.
Yeah.
So I opened the door from the inside because she's trying to push me in. So I'm trying to help to make make myself feel better. But then all three of us were in the bathroom at the same time because I'm holding the door from the
Yeah.
inside. Yeah. So
Yeah, that was.
yeah, I haven't
Well, at least
masturbated
you
at the
got
airport.
yours. Mission not halfway accomplished, you know.
Anyways, we are going to get to the advice segment of the show.
Okay.
And some of these topics that we're talking about, mutual masturbation, the difficulties of masturbating, such as like me standing up. I said it's more difficult for me, but also giving different suggestions and positions to masturbate in, as well as how to do mutual masturbation. What all of those topics have in common is that we teach all of those on my Patreon. So you can click the link below because the Patreon has over 250 classes, workshops, conversations,
Hell, Medina was on our Patreon before doing a dirty talk, how to do dirty talk class where we were giving examples. Girl, she's nasty, by the way. Giving examples. And all of those things are on there. So don't forget that I am also the owner of Sexual Essentials, and all of those videos are there for you to check out. So our advice today is if you want to know about any of those topics, as well as the necklace that we're talking about and all that stuff, we do all of that over there. So make sure that you check it out with the link below. And last, we're going to end off with the spiritual tip of the day. Okay. And this is where we just break down a lot of the words that have been used very often, like energy and spiritual stuff and crystals and talking about sun, moon, rising and all that stuff. And it's like a lot of people don't know what they're talking about. And so it's difficult to find somewhere to start. So what we try to do is just break down one spiritual thing in a bite-sized piece every episode. So whether that's reading one tarot card and explaining what it means when it pops up, or explaining a crystal and what it means, or, you know, an astrology tip or something like that. Mm-hmm. So today I pulled a card for, actually two cards for our episode.
Okay.
And I'm going to read them. I don't know if they, I know how they apply to me, but let's see if they apply to you or just what's going on.
Okay.
But the first card was, so tarot cards, we've had this as a tip before, but tarot cards are a deck that's based off like intuition, and you pull them and they usually resonate somewhere in your life. And that's one of the ways that I've been strengthening my own intuition. You know how you feel, especially as an overthinker. Mm-hmm. I find that these help me with my anxiety.
Yeah.
If I'm feeling a type of way and I pull the card and it reaffirms or says the exact thing that I feel like I'm going through, but I'm not sure, I think, and it's exactly that, it's able to kind of calm my mind.
Definitely very affirming.
Yes. Okay, so the first one that I pulled was the star. And the star, the keywords were hope, faith, rejuvenation. And it says, after the collapse of the tower, the star suggests the possibility for rebirth, rejuvenation, and overall hope. It is a phase in which one has trust and faith in oneself and the universe around them. And the star card is one of the major arcana cards. The cards are broken down into different decks. And the major arcana are the ones that talk about like life events and like major life milestone changes, where the other decks are about the smaller details of our life, whether that be finances or emotions or creativity. And so this is a major arcana card. Does that apply for you at all?
It does, with some things that I've been thinking about trying, some new things, and it's kind of like maybe I should just continue down that path. Like I'm on the right path to do it, and it's gonna be good. Like don't be afraid of canceling all these other plans, canceling other projects, and putting your energy into this. Absolutely.
And for me, that applies just because I've transitioned from Sexual Essentials being the sole thing I do or that I'm known for, to starting the podcast, and being able to sit down again with people that have let me sit on their platforms and shared that with me, and the Content House just taking over. Like you guys came and shot your podcast here, and that was like really, like it definitely felt like I'm the star, like at least in this moment, and just starting over after some
and that's
rebirth.
Scary. To start over, so I'm proud of you.
It's super
for doing that.
Thanks, sugar. And then the other card that came out with it, because I was only going to pull one, but that one popped out too, and got to listen to the universe, let it do what it does, which is the death card, which can be really scary because you like, wait, death?
That's the card that nobody ever wants because it feels like, oh, I'm about to die.
What? I ain't trying to die. But that's not really what it means. Right. The keywords are end of a cycle, beginnings, change, metamorphosis. And this card says, a cycle comes to a close, a radical transformation that requires a part of oneself to be sacrificed to be able to continue to the next plane. With loss, something new can begin. Death carries a sky. A sky?
I don't know how to say that word.
All right, well, death carries it, not just to destroy, but also sow the new harvest. And that's also a major arcana card. And after even just what I just said, clearly, Sexual Essentials transitioning into something different and just really expanding is definitely, the death card is really a sign of rebirth, because after something ends, something else has to start and take its place. So I'm just super excited for everything that's to come, and I'm just so glad that we were able to just sit down, have a conversation.
Me too.
Just us, and also just hear the differences in the episodes that we've done before, with the live shows, and just really seeing how the girls that I looked up to when I started this, how they've transitioned and where we are now, where the conversations are going. So I really love that to, to be able to have that and give you your flowers while you're here, girl.
Thank you.
But yes, so please tell everybody where they can find you, your cookbook, the podcast, and we'll drop all the information below as well.
Okay, so you guys can follow me on Instagram and YouTube at Kiki Said So. My podcast is Cocktails Dirty Discussions. We're at Cocktails Podcast on Instagram, and it's COCKTALES. I do have a cookbook. I also have a book club. So if you just go to my Instagram, I have a Linktree link with links to everything. The cookbook, there are physical copies and there's digital downloads. I even have like some individual recipes for $1. If you just want to try it out and see what I'm talking about before you spend the rest of your money, go for it. You'll be back. And then the book club, our book club, we like to read something for fun. A lot of the ladies that are in the group, it's like, life can be really hectic. Sometimes you just want to get together with girlfriends. We do it virtually, but you want to get together with your girlfriends and just talk about a book that actually gave you a little bit of time to just escape the realities of life and enjoy something. So we're not going to be reading a lot of self-help books or anything like that. We keep it light and it's fun and we explore different topics. And then this year, actually starting in June, I don't know when this episode comes out, but once a quarter, we're going to be doing an in-person meetup in different cities. So okay. Yeah. So head on over to my Instagram at Kiki Said So. I have vlogs on my YouTube. I've got cooking videos, all sorts of things, and I'm trying new things. And of course, the podcast and Get This Game. It took a lot of work to put that together, and it's something that's different. We were trying to think of something different, and this is something that can live on when we're done podcasting and we both want to move on, but that's a game that can keep going. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And then whenever you guys do your Atlanta one, make sure you check us out at the Something Extraordinary Content House because we have a library here. It's called the Java Room. So we need to make sure that we get your cookbook so we can put it in the library. It actually has, it's floor to floor, like bookshelves, the whole room. And it even has like the movable ladder that moves across the room. It's a vibe. So make sure you check that out here and, keep us in mind when you do your book club. Okay. We will add all the links below. To your cards. It's so crazy because I was like, you know what? I really want better cards out there like that sound like me. But it wasn't really my forte. It wasn't like the idea wasn't coming to me and I was just like, damn. And then like the cards came out and I was like, oh my God, this is really what I needed. And as you can see from that box, I've been giving it some work. Yeah. So I really love those cards. Make sure you guys support what's going on. But thank you so much for tuning in today. Please make sure that you tell someone about this show. Make sure that you share, repost, tell your girlfriends, drop it in the group chat. And please make sure that you check out the SE Content House. That is where we're recording today. This was a custom set made by Naya Abdallah on our Rust Wall set. So you can check us out for your podcasting, photography needs, photo shoots, and definitely your events. And make sure you check out our events that we're having here as well. We have different creative classes like calligraphy workshops and wine tasting, R&B nights, and all types of things, as well as panel discussions. So whether you're hosting one or want to attend one, just make sure that you follow the page so you can keep up with what's going on. Make sure that you follow the Instagram page for Not Just Another Sex Podcast. And thank you guys so much for tuning in, and we will see you next week.